Alright, we are going live. Hello, good people. Thank you for waiting a second. I apologize for being late, but it's good to have you guys here. Hey, and everyone, we are live. Alright, let me just switch the thing back for a second because that's not supposed to be going there. And boop. Perfect. So, okay. Today's focus is going to be on recommendations through YouTube. I've been diving into this problem a bunch recently, and I'll repeat it once we have the rest of the chat here. But the problem I've been diving into is about how does YouTube share stuff that it thinks is good from your channel? How can you access it? How can you figure it out? And I'm excited I might have an idea. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. See who's coming in the next moment. But I know that we're just gonna chill. So if you're here watching on the VOD, hi, thanks for coming by. Go ahead and just skip ahead to when, I'll probably indicate it down below, when the first people will start coming in. But once they start coming in, then we can have some questions, we can explain this kind of discussion stuff that I'm excited about. Keep putting my hands through my hair because it's so warm today. And yes, yeah, that seems to be the case. So if you go ahead, skip ahead, I'm just gonna start doing this. Hey Ray, what's up? I'm swimming to fill in the time. So let's give Kool-Aid Moonwalk a little bit of extra thing, but I'm gonna give you a heads up on. Let's tell you, you're so jazzed. I have high expectations. Oh my gosh, this is. So I was just talking to nobody a second ago. I've been trying to solve a problem for a long time, and I was able to see information that supported that problem that I was trying to solve, and I think I have an answer. So I'll walk you guys through what is going on. Hey, what's up, Kool-Aid Moonwalk? Good to have you here. So I'll give you guys a walkthrough on what I think I understand and how this works. And yes, I am very jazzed about it. So specifically, I'm going to start with a hypothesis. And this hypothesis is that if you have a certain set of indicators that YouTube thinks are positive indicators, then YouTube will send out your information. Now, these indicators are things we've talked about. Audience, like viewed, watch time, stuff like that. But there's something else that I bumped into that I thought was really interesting. And I think that this makes sense once it's kind of laid down. So let's say, for example, out of the many different things that YouTube looks at, it looks at click-through rate, which is a term for how many times someone clicks or how many people click on a video versus how many times it's been seen. Let's demonstrate what that looks like through my system real quick, because I realize I haven't shown you guys this before. So this is something that I think is very, very important and cool. So sorry about that. I'll get too excited. I'm sorry. Okay, let me abuse of discretion. Nice to have you. Thanks for the heads up. Let me show you. Let me pop in back for a second. Okay, Sorry about that. I got excited. So the reason why I'm excited is because if you guys come and check this out, we have up here impressions. Impressions is a bit of data that helps you with click-through rate. This is something that allows you to know that whenever you put out a video, that is how many human opportunities you had for someone to watch your video. This is known as reach. Reach viewers, reach. Basically, my thumbnail has been seen, or my thumbnails in this channel have been seen 57,300 times. So, this is a great tool. I just love this thing a lot. Impression click-through rate. Basically, 4.4% of the time that my thing is shown, someone clicks. 4.4% of the time. So that means 57.3 turns into 4.6 thousand views. When you say what's 4.4% of 57.3, it's 4.6 thousand views after all the impressions are seen. Do I know the average click-through rate to hover around? Now that's a fantastic question, and I don't. I'm not sure what it is. I've seen different people talk about different amounts in different ways, but I actually don't know what the correct click-through rate is to do. What I can say is higher is better. And let's talk about that specifically now. So, when we go higher is better, this is referring to this idea that more click-through rate on the same amount of reach would increase more views, right? You have 1,000 people who get your impression, and you go from 10% to 20%, well, that'll be 20% more views, because instead of 100 viewers out of those 1,000 impressions, it becomes 200 viewers. So that will look like in a graph that, this is just kind of a silly graph to help us understand this. All over my face, but don't worry about it. So we have a graph on the left here. This graph is just an example graph, okay? So don't worry too much about what these numbers could be. But what I want you to pay attention to and know is, if you can see in the top left of the graph, that there is a blue thing that says impressions, and then an orange thing that says impressions click-through rate. So once again, this is an example. So what you can see in the beginning are spikes, right? Those spikes represent a video going live, okay? For this particular channel, a video goes live, you get some impressions. That's what the blue spikes are. And you can see that the orange line is what's the percentage of people clicking through. Now, just note that when, come on, where's my thingy? There it goes. So just note that when you see over here that orange line goes up, click-through rate is going up, meaning people were more interested in that video. So that blue line is completely controlled by YouTube. YouTube decides what numbers go into that blue line. It chooses the impression. So if you notice something, right around that fourth spike, the orange line continues to go up at an increased rate, and suddenly the blue stuff goes up too. What this is showing is, let me grab this guy again. Come on, friend. Alright, fine, I'll drag you alone. What this is showing is that as people are increasing in impressions, or excuse me, as in click-through rate, this view count is increasing. Now, within this, it's like, what does this mean? Why does Google or YouTube show off more, like, give you more impressions when you get more views? Like, that makes perfect sense, right? Well, there's a little bit of a hiccup that I haven't mentioned about this particular graph, which makes me so excited about it. That reach thing is actually going to subscribers. So that blue line is going to people who've subscribed to your channel and said, I like your channel's cool, and so I'm watching it. And so that orange line is actually an increase in subscribers clicking on your content. I caught it. Didn't drop it this time. So what does this look like in a different graph? So in this regard, you can, once again, orange line is the click-through rate, and the impressions is the blue one. So this is one where I removed a bunch of sources the person removed a bunch of... Let me find the right thing real quick without spoiling the ending before you guys deserve to see it. That's it. Boop. All right. So this particular graph here, same idea. Blue line is impressions. YouTube controls them. Orange line is click-through rate. Now this is something that you and I could control, actually almost directly, because this is things like having a good title, this is having a good thumbnail, and this is having a trending topic people are interested in. So if you were a fan of StarCraft and StarCraft 2 is coming out, you say, StarCraft 2 is coming out, I'm excited. Good thumbnail, then people are more likely to click it. But this is, as I mentioned, what's fascinating with this. This is subscriber specific. Now this particular one actually shows that is specifically for a thing known as the home page, okay? So the home page is this. Right here. It's on that side. This is the home page, okay? So to be clear, what this graph is showing is subscriber interest, homepage. Okay? So, a little behind coming up shortly. Yeah, that's the correct statement. So, let me actually make sure that's 100% the case. It's not. I'm a little bit leading you guys astray now that I'm reading through my notes again. So to make sure that I don't lead you any more astray, I'm going to take this opportunity to take 2 steps back. Okay? Because I got excited and really wanted to share this bit. So far, you guys understand, orange line is click-through rate, blue line is impressions. Okay? A click-through rate is how many times someone clicks percentage-wise on your impressions. Impressions are how many times someone has seen a thumbnail of yours. So this counts as 1 impression, this is 1 impression, this is 1 impression. But the watch later area, that's down at the bottom here, that wasn't an impression. Now this is an impression because I can see this. Now there's an impression here because I can see this. So each one of these counts as a new impression every time I see it. All right? Figure that's an important thing to explain. Let's talk about the hypothesis that I have here. I think, and I have some data to support because I've had the opportunity to get to see some extra data on this, that with increased click-through rate, that orange bar over there, you get an increased impressions to your channel. So to repeat what this means, increased amount of people who click your thing, increased amount of times YouTube shows your thing to people. Specifically to people who are not subscribed. So what does this mean for you? Well, in this particular case, each one of these spikes is a video that comes out. You can see that around the 4th spike, that's that kind of one in the very middle, that we have a moment where it goes, we have more click-through rate, so YouTube decides to reward this particular channel with more impressions. We see an increase in the blue. Now this particular video here, those blue lines are the impression lines, and this is from the home page. So if we look closely, same time difference. We have these blue spikes in this one because this takes all the traffic, and now this one just looks at the home page. So with that increased CTR, click-through rate, the one change was on the home page, which is something human us, we can't control, but YouTube controls entirely. So this tells me, hey, when you have this increased click-through rate, at least at this moment, YouTube chose to show your video more. Now looking at this particular one, our video is being released. Spike 1, impressions, Spike 2, impressions, Spike 3, impressions. You can see in general on this graph, impressions don't really change per release. Now this is because this is purely for subscribers. So this one here was for everybody. This one was for everybody. This video is purely subscribers. Excuse me, this graph is purely subscribers. So this channel has a consistent amount of impressions per subscribers. This makes perfect sense. you only go to your subscriber count. I have about 2,800 subscribers on Kublai Khan. Thus, when I put out a video, it's only going to hit a certain number of them. You see that here. Think here. Nope, this one. You see that here. Where on this date, when I put out this video, 2,000 impressions were put, right? On this date, when I put out this video, 2,125 impressions. On this date, oh, check it, 3,000. Ah, I did better. This date, 2,000. So about 2,000 to 3,000 is my normal channel amount. Makes sense because it's for subscribers, right? So you only can hit your current number. Orange increases, that click-through rate of those subscribers increased. So that means I got more views, or it's so hard to talk about this in the correct weirdness. I keep saying I, but it's not my channel. This means that this person got more views per subscriber who saw than they normally did at the very beginning of the graph, right? And you can see at the end of the graph, they return back down. That middle area is that big blue spike area. So you can see that orange spikes around the same time in the graphs. So they didn't get more subscription reach because you can't. Subscribers have clicked to opt in. But when you have an increase in subscribers clicking on your video, YouTube does something where it gives you non-subscribers checking out your channel. Over here is a slight change to the graph. Blue line is now watch time of subscribers, and the orange line is watch time of non-subscribers. You're able to get the same information in your channels. If you look to the beginning, you see that each one of those videos has a spike with a little tiny bit of orange spike until you get to those two major largest spikes, where you see significantly bigger extra spikes happening there. So what's happening here in this channel is that they're going, oh, look at this. This guy is getting so many more subscriber bits of attention. YouTube decided to provide extra watch time from unsubbed people. Here's another example of it. I believe this one is, once again, just from one location. Yeah, this one's also of just the homepage. So 100% only what YouTube can handle. And you can see that it gives us, or gives this person, small blue bumps of watch time. So basically, whenever this video went live on YouTube, the homepage was not a big thing for the subscribers. Never really was. Or it was, but actually you can see it was the biggest compared to the non-subscribers. Until you hit to that first little up, which is actually really big compared to everything else. It's almost double. Suddenly we have a lot of subscribers checking out through the homepage, and we have a huge amount of non-subs. And then after that, there's another video comes out, and we get a ton of subscribers watching, and an insane amount of non-subs. So, let's be clear what's happening from a YouTube perspective. Pretend, for a moment, that I am a subscriber of Disguised Toast 2. As you can see, Disguised Toast 2 is on my homepage. I see that, and that's an impression. Now, when I click this, there is a moment where YouTube goes, click-through rate, 10%. Jared is part of that 10% who clicked through. When, as a channel, you increase that click-through rate of your subscriber base, and that's an important point, of your subscriber base, YouTube looks at it and goes, this is a good video. Your initial fans liked it. We should show it to more fans. And so you see an increase in reach. Now, to try to make this clear as possible, because this is going to be, I know this is kind of confusing, and I want you guys to start asking questions. And let me put my face back I know you guys are going to want to start asking questions. But this is what this means. You make a YouTube video, YouTube channel, and you have 100 subscribers. And when you put out a video and 50 of those subscribers watch that video quickly, YouTube says, that's pretty good. We should share this person's video with non-subscribers on homepage. In suggested views, maybe? I don't know, but definitely on homepage, because clearly that was what was happening in this particular person. But what this means is that you don't necessarily need to have a trending topic, a hype thing. If you make something good and your current subscriber base all come and watch it right when you put stuff out, that is an indicator to YouTube that your content's good. So it wants to show it to more people. Your core fan base, your subscribers, you guys to me, for example, I have like 2,800, right? If I had 5% of that number watching anytime that I put out a video, 10%, whatever that percentage is, YouTube would reward me with being put in more places. This is the wrong thing completely. Would reward me by putting me into more places. So, looking back on this particular graph is not as good, but it's what I have access to here. So, this video has a click-through rate of 2.9% and was seen by 1,100 different people. It had a nice little spike in the beginning of 551 impressions, and then 58, 30, and then not a lot of impressions. This tells me not a lot of searches going on. But if I got out of that number of 551, say what's 5% of that? 30 people watching this live stream or something like that, YouTube would be like, yeah, that's a good video. Or maybe it needs 60. But YouTube would consider that a positive and be like, this is the shit. Let me show you to more things. And that's what these graphs are showing. With an increase of click-through rate from your subscribers who do not change in number. You still get this flat number of subscribers here who do not change, gives you this massive blue spike in attention. So, that might be super confusing. What are the questions on this? Does this make sense? Do you understand why I'm excited about it? Because, actually, I'll explain why I'm excited about it. You can focus on your core audience for your videos. Not necessarily being like, I need to play a new game every 10 minutes. I need to play a new hotness game. If you make something good and your people watch, and you have 30 subscribers, and all 30 of them watch when you put that video out, YouTube finds that as a positive thing. It goes, cool, let's share it with another 10, 20 people. And it tries to grow your channel for you. That's what makes me excited. This makes sense from a YouTube perspective because subscribers are the first line of people who judge your content. And they judge you with watch time, percent viewed, and click-through rate, right? Click-through rate is legitimately how many people click to get in. So you have that, and then it indicates to YouTube this video is good. You should share it with more people. So I get excited about this because a lot of the success stories that I've seen on YouTube involve good search ranking. Instead of targeting their core audience. So, trying to go back and explain this again. Think about it from the perspective of a creator that grew because they had good content as opposed to having content that is more trendy, so to speak. Does that make sense? This is probably one of the bigger ones that I've had to do. And this is... I don't see any movement in the questions there. You guys still around? Or did I lose the track? It says I'm still streaming. Ah. Everything is predicated on subscribers. Yes. Or you could argue it as first viewers. But your subscribers are your first viewers for pretty much everything, right? Abusive distraction. Just chilling, man. Thank you. Alright, thank you for letting me. I made a comment. Don't know if it popped up. I will rewrite it. Thank you, Kool-Aid. Yes, it makes sense. Everything's predicated on subscribers. So, with this, this still means you should have trending content, because if something's cool for your people, like if you're a Skyrim player and new Skyrim content comes out, well, your Skyrim people want to see that. So it still makes sense to do that, and it still has trending and search power. What is existing here too, though, is that if your subscribers like it, YouTube's going to share it with more people outside of your base. So the lesson here is that by having your subscribers or first-time viewers, like those first people, watch your stuff, high enough click-through rate, high enough watch time, high enough percentage viewed, that indicates it's a good video, so YouTube shares it. Maybe 5%'s good, maybe 2%'s good. You should just try to drive up that click-through rate number. You should try to drive your watch time length. You should try to drive your average percentage viewed. But what ends up happening is when you cross this threshold, YouTube goes, let's share it. You're good enough. And that's fascinating to me. Because it's like YouTube was like, once you've passed this threshold, from your first time viewers saying this is quality content, it feels comfortable sharing it with people who don't know you yet. I love being able to see that in data, because that's something that I've read about but haven't had the pure like oomph to show it. So I see you guys understand it. So let me try to apply it differently. Arain, if you were to upload one of your live streams and you got 10% viewed, and then the next time you watched over that and you're like, how did I get 10% viewed on this whole video? And you see that people dropped off because at the 10-minute mark. So you edited the video down to 10 minutes. And you put that up, and all of a sudden you have 50% view time on that. YouTube maybe goes excited, maybe doesn't go excited. You're like, okay, there's a thing. Let me increase my click-through rate by trying out different thumbnails. You find a thumbnail that increases your click-through rate from 3% to 6%. Now all of a sudden your views and your watch time are increased because, well, you have high percent viewage and you have more people interacting. And thus, YouTube's like, that's a good video, let's share it with more people. Kool-Aid Moonwalk, try writing it like 4 or 5 words at a time for your question. And while you do so, I want to tell you what this would be like for your channel. You're talking about a new 3DS game that's come out that you're excited about. This 3DS game that you get, let's, same idea, 10% watch time. You go check your video and you realize people are leaving because you're switching your images too quickly. So you slow it down and suddenly people are staying. Cool. So that increases your watch time because you have more people staying and watching. Then YouTube looks at it and goes, oh, you're getting this certain threshold knock. Cool, let's share you with more people. Each time, it wasn't about trying to hit the new search success. There's a thing that I talked about with the 8-Bit Ninja, if you guys remember that lecture a while ago, where he was constantly looking for new games, got on the search results, and exploded with that attention. That is different than this, because that particular strategy applies always looking for a new audience. This is different. This is honing your audience. I'm more excited about honing your audience because that's where Patreon works. That's where you get to have more one-to-one relationships. So there are analytics for watch time specifically from subscribers. There are, and let's show it to you right now, okay? So I'm going to go back to, I think, the correct thing. Yes. So I find this studio beta thing useful only for being able to see impressions. I actually prefer the Studio Classic, which YouTube's trying to come up with new stuff, for all my data analysis. I think it's better because it gives you better graphs and things. And it lets you see multiple videos. So you want to see watch time of your subscribers. You'd go to watch time. And then you do this. Subscribed and not subscribed. It's at the top. Subscribed. And if you wanted to see compared to unsubscribed, you'd hit comparison. And go to not subscribed. And that creates your orange and blue lines. So orange is subscribed here, and blue is not subscribed. So you can see here that I have a lot more attention from people who don't subscribe to me. Makes sense because I have a lot of stuff that comes from search in this particular thing. Let's see if it actually, if we were to go check out traffic sources. Boop. Traffic. Stop. There we go. If we were to go check out traffic sources, my particular traffic, subscribed and not subscribed here. YouTube search, see that blue line that's humongous? Not subscribed, there was 4 days and 23 hours of watch time. Subscribed, 1 hour and 53 minutes. I am not hitting any of my subscribers with my content. None of them. This channel is all directed to the idea of search success as opposed to core audience building. Now that's something that I'm trying to change personally because I was originally taught to build content via search focus, because search focus is great to get that initial attention. Oh yeah, dude, analytics are great. But anyway, I built this channel to originally get attention through search because that's a great start. You get those people and they like your content and they see it. If nobody is interested in searching for your content, otherwise you have to go out and show it to things like subreddits. See where this is going. And then build up the audience through that. And then when you have enough of them constantly watching your content, you're growing that way. But the thing is like, you can't really kick that core audience thing until you have enough of an audience. So for example, when I try out that thing I was already talking about doing, which was the storytelling editing, I'll probably try Fallout 4 content again because this channel really likes Fallout 4 content. Do I think I'll get a high number of subscribers watching it? No, I don't think I will. I think the only way I could do it is if I get a lot of search. But it's a good start and it's worth figuring out. So the hub content is important to maintaining, as that is what you got the subscribers in the first place. Most subscribers, so hub content is maintaining, yes. But subscribers will come in for search content, which is the help content that we talked about as well. So that's, that's the, let me search this new game. Cool, here's some sweet help content about the new game. Oh, this person also does hub content and I watch it. So that's the, how do you find this sword? By the way, if you like my personality, come to this channel and watch the live stream. So this is where the thing is, where the live stream is different than the other channel. If that makes sense. Let me think of how to put it again. You are right that hub content helps grow the channel by keeping your current subscribers engaged and active. But it's not necessarily what got the subscribers there in the first place. Could be help content normally, or more search. Or it could have been something through Reddit. But then you can use hub content on something like Reddit. Cool. I hope that answered that a little more clearly. Oh, absolutely, Kool-Aid Moonwalk. Sub for sub can screw you over. Oh, and it went through. I'm glad to see that. This is actually something that is very important. This is data that argues that having more subs who aren't watching is worse than not having them. And the reason why is because YouTube... But this is the thing that's interesting. And let's go back to this. I'm not 100% sure on... Let's see, where is it? Where is it? There it is. I'm not 100% sure... Here, we'll just flip to it. How bad it is. But the thing is, it's not helping, is a good point from it. Because if we look here, I have 2.1 unique viewers. Now, let's be clear what that means. That means out of the 2,800 subscribers, 2,100 unique individuals watched my stuff. Let's see if this lets me figure it out to... Come on, give me... This is why I don't like this as much. Because it doesn't make it easy for me to figure out where subscribers are. Let's try to build an audience. Unique viewers, average views per viewer, subscribers 23. Here it is. Watch time for subscribers, right? So, 76% of these 2.1 people in watch time. See if it has views. It doesn't give me... Give me views! There we go. So, 5.6 views, 2.1 thousand. 76% of that is from people who don't watch or weren't subscribed. You know what? That's so complicated. I have a really hard time to see that from this system. It's annoying. The point being that if you have subscribers, YouTube looks at that as an indicator of someone watching your stuff. If a certain percentage of those subscribers aren't watching your content, or at least viewers of those subscriber base, then it thinks these people don't really like it. However, the question that I have is if we look at this and we see last 28 days was 57.37%. What I wanted to do is I wanted this to tell me how many of these are coming from just these videos that I'm pushing live. Because if we go to the individual video, let's see, we'll check this one. This one was getting about 550. Okay. So that is my impressions push. Oh, actually, 272. That is my impression push, 272 people. Then if we do a different video, $304. Okay, let's do a different one. $322. So it looks like it's about 300 on average impressions that these live streams get when I push them out. What's up, my balls are blue? Nice to have you here. So what that would indicate to me is that out of that impression amount, I'm trying to get, if we can see we have the click-through rate of 3 point. See if this takes me into this one. Ugh, it's just not as good of a tool. I want to go onto this date, and I want to know my impression click-through rate on that date. All right. On the day it went live, apparently it was 1.2%. Okay. The day it went live, it was 1.2%. I want it to be higher. If it's higher consistently, 5% or something like that, that'll be more views and an indicator to YouTube that the video is better. Thus, YouTube's more likely to share it. So having more subscribers does give you the opportunity to have more reach because those people have indicated that they're interested in your video to YouTube. But if you're not if they're not watching it, YouTube just doesn't show them through impressions. I was getting about like 300 impressions, right? But I have 2,800 potential people. So only 300 of those people actually get pinged that I'm doing anything. Thus, if only 300 of them are doing that, I need to get that click-through rate from that 300 people. So I'm only interacting with a smaller number. If your subscribers aren't watching, that number doesn't actually get you any attention because the impressions aren't necessarily going to those people who aren't interacting with you. So basically, a subscriber sub for something doesn't really click well. My balls are blue says, didn't you leave for work in Seattle? First question is, who are you? But I'm doing a lecture thing right now. So before I answer, so feel free to answer who you are real quick. Because do I know you from California, or is that just a question where you know about my life? Because that's fine. Because I actually live in Seattle, and I moved up here years ago. But at least for Kool-Aid Moonwalk, did that answer that question relatively well? Sorry, I had a hard time answering it because I'm not used to using this new tool. But basically, those impressions are vital for helping you understand the size of the audience that you're actually hitting whenever you put content out. Because that tells you what YouTube's doing. You told us in a stream, oh, gotcha, my balls are blue. I work in Seattle right now, and I have been here for a long time. So if you saw me from the Shadow of Mordor streams, those are all in Seattle. So I've been up here for a long time. So, alright, Kool-Aid Moonwalk says, just to clarify, are you saying if a subscriber doesn't watch your content, then they won't be seeing your videos on the homepage and such? Yes. Yeah. To repeat this and show it here again, just because I understand this tool better. When this video went live, it went live to 322 people. I have 2,800 subscribers. So, let's see, less than, so like 20%? Oh, that's even less than that. Hold on. About 12%-ish, around there, 10 to 15%-ish people actually get in an indicator that I've gone live. 10 to 15 of my total subscriber base. Because I don't activate them really a lot. Because my content's not what they subscribed for in the first place. So let's see, what was the question? Oh, wait, so to finish that, that means like, if you have a sub who doesn't watch, they're just not included in that reach up there. So basically, your subscribers are your gatekeepers, showing YouTube your approval rate, and based on that, it shares out to non-subscribers. More or less, yeah, that's what's happening. I think the term would be your first viewers would be a better term. However, your first viewers are your subscribers because they get a notification that your video went live, right? It goes ding, and they're, oh, new video. And they've indicated to YouTube that they like the channel too. So a first-time subscriber or a first-time viewer or a subscriber. But it's because your subscribers are typically your first-time viewers. So if you see that higher click-through rate on your subscribers, though, that's a sign that you're catching more first-time viewer in that regard. Happy Paper, welcome back from San Diego Comic-Con. It's good to have you here. How was everything? Did you sell many lovely plushies and stuff like that? Get many, many, many more thousands of new viewers? And then back to Arain's question. If your subscribers aren't watching, it even cuts into your base. It cuts into your reach base. Reach base, though, is an important part of that. And their reach base is also something that might also have a bottom tier percentage thing. And I can't show this here, unfortunately, because it doesn't give me that tool. But we saw that I was hitting about 322 or 280 or whatnot reach. See, can this give me a bulk analytics on my videos? Each time I put out a video, you know what, this is going to be, nah, that's not very great because I want it to do just on my streams. So if it's just on my streams, it's going to be browse features. Oh, but it doesn't show us when they go live. Ugh. Just help me. It's a shame. It's a tool that almost has everything we need, but it's missing it. What I was going to try to do is try to say I get about 300 impressions per launch of a new video, and that amount seems to be a bottom line because I keep getting it, right? Because it keeps giving me that bottom line. So it's kind of like saying, this is your minimum. If you pass your minimum, we'll reward you if you pass it enough. So that's kind of what it looks like it is. So when you talk about here, I don't know if it cuts into your base so much as it's just like it's how well they respond anyway, right? So it doesn't hurt you for non-active subscribers, but it doesn't help you either. Happy Paper, it was great, and yes, I did. High five. That's really cool. I was having a lot of fun watching your Twitter and your sharing and everything that you were doing. That's very cool, Happy Paper, for how that went. I can't wait to find out more. I'll contact you directly so we don't necessarily have to talk here. But feel free to gush about it here if you'd like, because we're at the question and answer time. So it's totally cool time to talk about it. Kool-Aid Moonwalk asks, so is this a chain reaction? If you get high subscriber attachment, it will get more impressions that will result in the video ranking higher in terms. Almost. If you have higher subscriber interaction, that's what I think you mean with attachment there. If you have, that means you have more people watching your video. So you have, let me pull up that graph again. One sec. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Think of it like this. Your subscribers are the blue line. And as you can see, that blue line doesn't change very much. Okay? So if you have higher subscriber interaction, which is that orange line goes up, you have higher subscriber interaction happening there. Okay? Which means you have more people watching your stuff. And then YouTube goes, all right, that looks cool. So I would like to share this off with more people. Oh, that's the wrong button. I would like to show this off with more people. Now this blue line is YouTube showing it off. It's going, because we saw so many people of subscribers watching, we're going to show it off to non-subscribers now and give it that kick. So to correct the way that you described it, chain reaction, higher subscriber engagement means you get more views and engagement and watch time and stuff like that, which YouTube then gives you more impressions. And more impressions is equivalent with video ranking higher. More impressions is because you get higher rankings, meaning you get more chances to get seen, right? Terrific. Sorry I'm late. What did I miss so far? Oh boy. I have a hypothesis that with an increased amount of engagement, click-through rate, or watch time, or more average view time, YouTube will share your videos more in suggested videos or on the homepage. Now specifically, I happened to come across a channel's bit of data that showed that increased click-through rate, which is basically how often someone clicks on something when they see one of your thumbnails. If you go from 2% to 5% or something like that, YouTube then goes, cool, let's share your content with more people. I highly recommend you watch this over once I'm done because it's pretty complicated. But it makes sense once it comes through. Because as you can see, I see the higher the impression is the same as the video ranking higher in search. Yes, more impressions is because of your better ranking in search. So, because you have a better ranking, more people see it, sort of thing. Like, this is better ranked than this, right? Because I have to scroll down. So more people see this than this. And more people see this than they see this, right? And so that's what ranking is in that regard. And that's especially noticeable in search as well. All right. Saw a comment from Happy Paper. Okie dokie. Lots of highlights, but I was really happy with how my books were received. Oh, that's awesome. So as a reminder, Happy Paper, or everybody, Happy Paper is a cartoonist, artist, extravaganza. She has kind of a almost not Hello Kitty, but like a similar idea to Hello Kitty, which has cute animal friends and characters and stuff like that. It makes it sound like you're a Disney princess. And you draw them and you make them into, have little comic book kind of things. And you're very happy how your books were received, especially with parents and teachers. Lots of returning people from previous years. That's so cool. Good on you. Very cool. All right, Kool-Aid Moonwalk's question. So in terms of an impression, do people focus on the video title or just the thumbnail? So an impression from YouTube is the thumbnail, okay? And this is an interesting note here too. These all received an impression from me. See this right here? This guy right here though? If I only got to here, this doesn't count as an impression. This counts as an impression. This does not. So it's the thumbnail, not the title specifically, that they count as an impression. Being that human beings are attracted to images and colors and not words, I understand why they made that decision. But click-through rate can be increased by bloody badass good titles. Like, zoom in real quick. If I was really into You Suck at Cooking as a channel, which is very, very funny. Game Day Artichoke Dip. Whew. Game Day Artichoke Dip. Alright, that's a SEO keyword right there, right? I'm going to watch that. That's going to get me more likely to click it. This thumbnail looks like good food. I'm ready to click it. A message from MoviePass. That's another, like, good clickable thumbnail kind of joke thing. The Keys to Self-Discipline from Terry Crews. So, let's see. So, let's see. Happy Paper, glad you happened. Cool. So I hope that answered your question in that regard. I don't see any follow-up afterwards, but if you have it, that's fine. We're also going a little later today because I started late. Sorry about that, and thank you. It did. That is all the questions I have for tonight. Cool. Abuse of discretion. My balls are blue. Happy Paper. Terrific. Any questions that have popped up? Terrific. I know you were kind of late. So, I'm trying to think of how we can answer some of your questions. Ah, you have a good question. That's a good way to focus on your question. Since people focus on the thumbnail, is it actually better to have a clickbait thumbnail? No. So this is an interesting discussion point. YouTube itself, when it revealed and gave the opportunity to show impressions, it showed off that, or it straight up said, do not focus on thumbnail to get the click. And the reason why is it will actually de-rank your video and your subsequent videos if you get lots of clicks but not a lot of watch time and people dropping off. It's called bouncing. So what a bounce looks like is this. Oh, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. No, I'm done. That's a bounce, right? It happens within the first 10 to 15 seconds. So that tells YouTube, actually, this is pretty fascinating. It's not on here anymore. YouTube straight up went, oop, Jared didn't like that. That's a misleading thumbnail, and pulled it from my freaking theme. So, and no more feed for me. No more Terry Crews, right? Because it indicated I was like misled by the thumbnail. So you want to have a thumbnail that's really attractive. So clickbait as in bring them in, but if it's misleading, it's not good. Think about it from the direction of like a true clickbait. Because the term clickbait often comes with a negative term, but it needs to be a true one, right? Like, here, let's go have some fun. Real lawyer versus movie lawyer. I can see from here. Here we go. Let's zoom out again, though, to make this harder for all of us to see a bit. So, remember, from your perspective, this is far away, but I can see lawyer reacts movies. So I know what this is about. It's got some blue. It's caught my eye. So it's clickbait, as in it's caught my eye, but it's telling me what's in it. It's about time. It's from MoviePass. This is Disguised Toast. Make people trust you. We got Svexville, also known as Philip DeFranco. Franco. I like Philip DeFranco. That's what I'm going to call him now. In there as well. All being an indicator saying, hey, you as a viewer like this, so you should like to click on it. It's kind of like having a judge a book by its cover thing. You gotta have a good cover. If it's a shitty cover, people don't pick up the book. I know you're not supposed to judge it, but people do. And that's just the nature of a human being. Ah, abuse of discretion. I'm glad my voice is nice to you. That makes me feel special. Thank you. So on topic of bounce, your own views count toward your own video's watch time, I assume. When you go to answer comment, I'm bouncing where I go in and out of the video. Yes, but YouTube also has a tool that counts for fake bounces. So if I hated you and I went in and tried to ruin your videos, YouTube can tell. YouTube specifically is able to identify that and go, it's not real. Fake. And actually, it's so sophisticated that if I was to do, like, pay for an ad on YouTube and I kept doing that to cause money to be paid, YouTube will refund your money automatically. Kool-Aid, does that hurt your video? If you try to trick it, it will know, and it won't help. And it probably could hurt based upon reach impressions, but I would have to look at your data, which you're able to do because you have the impressions click-through rate data that exists in the studio beta that they're trying to share with people. So with that, you'd be able to kind of get that figured out. And that's sort of your key performance indicator there, is if you're seeing that number change. If your reach goes down, then you have less people that video is being served to, so it's less interesting. If you see your reach go up, YouTube's sharing it with more people because it's more of a trendy topic, so to speak. If you get your click-through rate higher up, then you capture more of those people, and that's an indicator to YouTube that people want to watch your video because more people are watching it. And if they stay and watch for a certain amount of time, that indicates that it's a good video. And then YouTube goes, let's share it with more people. Don't worry about that, Terrific. Yeah, I got what you meant. I got what you meant. See the studio thing up in the corner? You can go to it by typing in studio.youtube.com, or the way I do, which is right here. So it's under watch time. So if you're in your analytics, it's impressions and click-through rate, CTR right there. And it's this one. Impressions, click-through, views. So like I said, it's not as good as the other data that I was able to nab. The reason why is because YouTube gives different amounts of data to different size channels. And that other channel, I think, was a large enough one. But the point of this is that you can still get the basics of this information. We can still see that on this video, there's indications of people watching it for 14 minutes. We can see that this video is being served a lot to people. 552 times in the last month, with a 3.1% click-through rate. If I changed the thumbnail and made it more popular, this is a fun part. If I changed the thumbnail and made it better, more clickable, more people would click it and YouTube would be more likely to share it and share stuff to my other videos and stuff like that. And that's what we were able to see with the other data. So going back over your old videos is actually like an investment in your new stuff. I personally dislike going back over old stuff, but it's actually very effective, which is kind of weird. But I like the current stuff, the new stuff, but especially because my stuff is especially searched. So if I improve the thumbnails for search, that stuff is going to have a bigger effect than if it's like a live stream event. My girlfriend walked over there, so I paid attention, and she's trying to be very quiet so she doesn't show up on the microphone. So any more questions related to that? Terrific. So yeah, that's where you find that information. It's really useful. I agree, Happy Paper. Indeed. And is it true going back to older videos and changing things can hurt the video, or is that a myth? Like in terms of thumbnail change or tags? It has YouTube re-send out the video. It won't like re-send it to your... So think of it like this. It's not like your subscribers are going to get pinged again. Like if I changed to this thumbnail, you guys wouldn't get pinged again that I changed the thumbnail. But let's go to a video that's much more popular on my channel. Come on. There we go. So these are my top videos, right? Can I go check out this one? Can you show me this data? Thank you. So see that thumbnail up there? This is searched a lot. I got 4.3 thousand impressions in the last month on this one. 392 unique viewers. 7.2% impression click-through rate. This is a good video according to YouTube's thing, right? I think. Let's say I change that. I make it better somehow. I make it more interesting of a thumbnail. The 2,800 people who subscribe to me won't get an indicator, but all these searchers who are searching will see the new video, and if it's better and it increases this, YouTube will like that. And I will get more views, right? Because more click-through rate occurs. So, and if you change titles, then it re-ranks where it should go. Terrific. I would recommend you go Google on what's good for thumbnails. So, but the way that I do it when I'm researching for myself is that I will look up the video type that I'm trying to make and then copy thumbnails like it. An example of a recent thumbnail I did for work, for like work. Boop, boop. Here we go. There we go. So work one I did was that one at the right here. So you can see these are also ones that I've done, but these ones are meant to be more casual because they were like more professional and we'd have to go through approvals and stuff. This particular one, I now have that, like I get to do this now. So more clickable, right? Here's another example of you go and check out what their thumbnails look like. Big faces. That kind of thing. Go and look at what other people do. I've been avoiding to make a lot of really intense thumbnails because that's a lot of time. Make one edit. So I've been using basic on thumbnails. Thumbnails and titles are probably like, think of it like this. 50% of the time is your video. The other should be your thumbnail. And that's what people have told me. And I hate that so much. I really do. I don't like making thumbnails. Not because I dislike making something. It's just it takes a lot of time. So if you and myself are able to create a workflow so we get to do it, we'd have better video responses. We'd grow our channels better. I mean, some people do stuff like this. Miniature Nerds thumbnails are nice and attractive, but they're not super... Like, he just repeats 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as he goes through. They're attractive, but they're not crazy. They're not like works of bloody art. Something like... PewDiePie's video, or like... Each one of these are these... Oh no, what have I done to you? Sorry. Each one of these are, like, Photoshop. Massively altered and changed. Look at this, 4.2 million views. This is people loved this one. But, like, there's a lot of effort that goes into each one of these. But they're meant to, grab you. Let's see. So you only recommend do that for videos doing well with SEO. Kool-Aid Moonwalk is saying, I recommend you do it on every video that you can. I would recommend that you do those changes to improve the stuff if you think you can make it better. But technically, if it has good SEO, you don't need to change it. It's the stuff with bad SEO you do need to change, right? Looking up basic design and composition might help your thumbnails too. Happy Paper, who is the artist right now, that's something that I need to work on as well. Basic design and composition, like, you need to make an image, a picture. And it goes with it's a movie poster for your video. I hate it, but it's really important. The only reason I dislike it though is because it just is like you make a video, you edit it, and then it's like, no, do this extra thing, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. Abuse of discretion. Yeah, I'm gonna skip a video if the thumbnail's basic. Totally. We have actually here's one that I always think is interesting. You can see the views over here. 40 views, 57, 58. Like, this one's not getting as many. This one's getting these two much more. Even this was slightly better. Just having some color. Just something. So, personally, if you can find a way to make thumbnails kind of like what I did, where it's like they're a thumbnail directly taken from the event, which this is what this guy does. ProZD straight up makes thumbnails directly from YouTube's thing, but they're always still really good. They're his face. They like show off what he's doing and who he is. But he also makes vines primarily, or in vlogs and stuff. So that's his brand and style. And this is also not his main job. He's just doing stuff because it's fun. I highly recommend ProZD. I think he's really funny. He's a voice actor. Very pretty voices. Alright, so it's 9:20, or 2 minutes till, so I'm going to stop. So, rule of thirds is an easy one you can design around. Just a little practice and you can have it down so you don't need to grid. Then again, an artist I follow, Will Terry, goes. There's some advice from the artist here. Rule of thirds is a very good basic thing. It literally is a grid that shows up on your vid. Just grab it for you guys real quick so you can see it. I recommend you Google it yourself too. See this? This is rule of thirds right there. What it basically says is you want something to align on these two dots. That's how you do rule of thirds. So you can literally put that grid on stuff when you're trying to design it. It's often a filter that they let you use. Full clickbait thumbs. See, the thing is that clickbait, if it's good, isn't bad. That's a silly statement. Clickbait is a term that is often used for negatives, like, you won't believe. But in reality, people click on it because it's effective. So it's a headline. You got to think of your titles on your videos as headlines. Because it turns out that getting your current subscriber base to watch with that good headline and that good image increases your ability to have strangers see your content too. That's all the questions I have. I know Asmore's thumbs are literally that. I gotta look at his Will Terry. I'm gonna look it up right now. Will Terry. Yeah, please post his chat. Actually, I'm posting his chat. I'm doing it now. Do illustrations need to be good at public speaking? Overcoming my claustrophobia. Can I back out of an art job? How do I get an illustration rep? Totally legal fan art. When to say no? Do I have to work digitally? You are an art dealer? Am I too old for illustration? Yeah, these are pretty... Yeah, is this the guy? Is this the guy? I thought I wouldn't amount to much. That's a huge clickbait title. But hell, that's really good. I'm like, but I think you amount to something. I need to find some good custom fonts. The defaults aren't that great. Actually, there's a lot of good fonts that exist in every computer generally, but you can go online and get fonts. Check out Lost Type. Alright. So, like, whenever I do a thing for whenever I do this, let's see. Sorry, but my thing that I use is my font I like to use is called Broadway. The font at work is Astoria. Like, it's part of your brand. Is this what you're referring to? Lost type? I will check out things. Yep, I'm out of questions. If you have, I got some more insight in improving my channel. Glad I'm informative. Try to be. That's a good one, says Happy Paper. I'm confuzzled. Wait, do you mean... Great place for fonts. That's what you mean. Lost Type. LostType.com. Alright. I get you now. So for you guys looking for fonts, LostType.com. A lot of free fonts, I assume. Alright, thank you everybody for coming by. It was nice to have you. So this is what got me super excited. This was my work over the week, as I was trying to find evidence of this particular thing because I'd read it was true, that increased click-through rate and increased interaction engagement from your community increases YouTube suggestion, and we got to see it directly, and that was really cool. So with that, that's just bloody awesome. With that, it means that you can grow a core audience by improving your engagement with who you already have. But that's thumbnails, that's clickbait, excuse me, that's good titles, that's good content. So make sure that you use those people to optimize what you do. Alright. Happy Paper, good point. Nice thing about them is free for private use and cheap for commercial. I recommend that if you're going to use it for commercial, don't get sued. Go ahead and buy some of them. But you can try them out for free first. Let's see. Later, dude. Enjoy your day, evening, whatever time it is for you. It's nighttime. Thank you. And bye, Kool-Aid. See you later, Happy Paper. Arain, you have a good night, too. Blue Balls, if you're still here, have a good night. Abusive Discretion, you as well. Have a good evening. And any final... Yeah, we're good? I'm not seeing any more pops up. See you Thursday. See you Thursday, Abusive Discretion. Well, yeah, that'll be the work stream. More gameplay focused. Less lecture. Cool. Alright, see you later, good people. Bye. I always have to find the stop stream button. I'm like, forget, look, ah.